we make a 2D RPG here in this channel, and if you want to see the story so far, we have a command for that too. So don't be shy, feel free to say hi. And we'll be carrying on with our dialogue today. We have been working on the scene for our very first boss before the encounter, and we're making sure it's as awesome as possible. So let's get started. Okay folks, so this is where we got to yesterday. We were having a good chat, weren't we, about getting into the voice of a character and making them all sound different from each other, which is definitely something I'm aiming to do with the dialogue in this game, so that every character sounds different, especially because there's no voice acting. It makes it even more important, and I think we did a good job of that, even though we've only just made a start on it. I think we've done a good job, so we're just going to carry on from where we left off. I'd really love it if we can get this scene done today. Well, get it all done, like from beginning to end. I'm not going to expect the dialogue to be all done. Sometimes it's hard to think on the spot with dialogue, so I tend to just put in brackets what I'm sort of aiming for, which is what I've done for Carol here. I've put that she either says something insulting or pulls a disgusted face. More likely something insulting, because that's why Lemon responds the way he does. So when inspiration strikes any of us, you know, might have an idea for what that could be. Hi Chub, how you doing? It's me, Chubs, as if I wouldn't know. and we started bringing all the fruits on the scene together, and I tend to make notes here in these red boxes to just explain in detail what we're going for in certain parts. So we'll just continue doing that. So if we're looking at our outline, we are at this point now. We did one of the fruit shouts at the party for attempting to vandalise their property, and we thought Tomato would be best for that. Being the aggressive one of the bunch, it made sense for him to be the first one to get in there and have his little say. I'm really looking forward to actually doing this scene. That's very likely what we'll be spending next week doing. We'll see where we are at the end of today's stream with this dialogue, but all going well, we'll at least get the foundation of the scene all from start to end, and any like perfecting of dialogue we can always work on, well, me over the weekend or even at the start of Monday's stream. It will be so cool to get the scene at some point early next week. Start with that. Right, so I'm just going to double check everything's good on my sound settings, because I had a bit of a tiny tech issue and it delayed me a bit, and Windows is often a silly billy and changes my volume levels, but it's all good today. I have to check every day and make sure that my volume level hasn't gone down, because it just does it randomly. And if I didn't check, sometimes my volume might be like ridiculously low and maybe you guys would barely hear me, but it's all good today. Right, so one of the fruits sees Rose. One of the fruits see Rose and they spring into action surrounding the party. They thank the hero for bringing them the most important component they need for their masterpiece. So that's the bit we're on now, and we pretty much said that Plum should be the one that does that. It fits him the most, being the wise, intelligent one of the group, who probably has done the bulk of the research. So he should be the one who does all that sort of talking. Tomato's just too, Tomato and Blueberry too much of a kid to do that, and Yeah, so and lemon's already spoke, and so we're gonna get rid of apple because it's not gonna be apple. Apple will come in a little bit afterwards. And I think we decided, didn't we? I mean, we were nearly going to put up a poll asking how are the fruits going to reveal themselves, but I think it was pretty much, it seemed that was an appeal, well, this particular bit anyway, with them being in a fruit bowl, but really it's a fruit basket, and it would look like that painting, that famous painting. I think that was sort of what people seem to like, so that's probably what we're going to go with. We don't really need to put up a poll for that. Hi Master Emerald, how are you doing today? It's good to see you. I hope your Thursday is treating you well. How did your artwork go in the stream? It was looking good. Have you finished it now? Okay, so a plum time. So let's get a box for plum, and we'll also have to get a sprite for plum as well. Also, we should probably start putting arrows there soon as well. Let's get our grid up. There we go, a little bit neater and tidier now. But I'm not going to fuss over that too much, because we'll just waste precious time. All the tidying up can be done at the end. I tend to like using these arrows, the ticking comic, because it makes them like squiggly and like comic book style, and I prefer that because it means I have to be less neat and tidy. When they're super normal straight arrows, they like look really horrible when they're a little bit off, but the comic ones don't look as bad like that. Okay, so I'm gonna put as well, let's get a bit of text up as well. We'll copy and paste this. Not finished, but it's going well. Well, awesome. I look forward to seeing the masterpiece when it's done. How are your other projects getting on? Where is everything? There it is. Yeah, I always forget to use the paste in place one, but it really should be that I use. So I'm gonna say first draft, just so people know that this is something we can always improve together. feel free to okay, so Plum, we'll get his dialogue in, but let's get his sprite first. So pretty good experimenting with using the Neverwinter Nights tool set to create a mock-up of a visual novel. Oh, that looks interesting. What's that tool like? Sorry, was lurking, was trying to help Top Bra solve an issue being reported in his game. Oh, awesome, Azrael. Yeah, Top Bra came in yesterday and his game was released, wasn't it, on the 31st of March? I believe that was the date. That's so super exciting. It's all the bug fixing time, yeah. Azrael the Saviour, helping with all the bugs. Okie doke, where are you hiding, Plum? Here you are. So it's only Plum and Apple that we haven't got yet. So let's just get them done. It's a very quick job. And I like to do it because it's nice to like put the character. I like to put the character on a little white dialogue box because it's a little bit, I like that visual approach to that sort of thing. And people can easily see quicker who's saying it, even though the name's there anyway. Sometimes seeing the character can help as well. It registers it faster. So that's Plum, but we won't save over the sprite sheet, of course, because we need all their different walks. Apple's quite cute, isn't he? Actually, I think he's grown on me a lot since we made him more of a goodie, and the other's bad. So how are you today, Rose? I try, but it's mostly educated guesswork, but it's still something, you know, even if it's just guesswork. You never know, it could be the right guess. And I'm doing decently. Just getting on with my thing, you know, as you do. Sorry, there we go. Let's bring Plum in first. Apple will come in shortly after. I'm still a little bit unsure how Apple's going to make his introduction, but I'm sure we'll figure it out. Also, let's move these boxes up just a touch so everyone can definitely see them. Do we need to update any of them? I think we do. We don't need that now. So what we did with those middle two red dialogue boxes, those were two dialogue ideas suggested yesterday from peeps in chat, and I combined them into Lemon's dialogue to something that would suit him. So Lemon is more... How would we describe Lemon? It's with the way his voice is. So Tomato uses teen lingo, but Blueberry talks in baby lingo. Lemon, we're still kind of trying to find his voice, but he's very protective and he's probably more witty. But he's not the cleverest though, but he's definitely more hands-on than Plum. it's hard to like sum it up. But the reason is, like, we had this like joke to turn Carol into an easel, because, like, you know, she's wood just like the easel is. And he like says, don't make me turn you into an easel. And we were like, who would say that out of all the fruits? And we were like, well, it could be Plum, because Plum is magical. He could turn people into things. But we were like, but actually, you know, he wouldn't actually be physical, because turning a barrel into an easel would be like more of a physical sort of DIY thing, and that would probably be more appropriate for what Lemon would do, I'd say. So but it's still hard to sum it up. But so Lemon is more, Plum is more. What's his trope? Let's remind ourselves. So yeah, Bruiser and Evil Genius. Maybe we can nick something in that. Give me a sec then, guys. Evil Genius. That might sum it up well. It does. TV tropes is good for like when you're a little bit stuck. Can help. My mum just gave me 10 cream eggs and I gotta resist just not eating them all at once. I'm very jealous. Give me. It's Easter soon, isn't it? I want all the chocolate. It's interesting to use more for old school RPGs, but I'm mostly using it for the dialogue and quest editors. That sounds interesting. I'm gonna have a peek into that one, because I do like Draw.io a lot. But I'm also interested in exploring other tools as well. You never know, there could be some that are a little bit easier to use. Draw.io can sometimes be a bit, you know, play up a little bit, change the text when you don't want it to and stuff. But I do, overall, it's not too bad. They're a planner and a specialist. Oh, right, so yeah, he specialises in magical things. And he's the brains, yeah, so. Whereas Plum specialises. Can't spell. And it's the brains of the group. Tomato encourages the party to fight. Blueberry. Yeah, we'll keep them together. So Blueberry there. Put them under the right dialogue box. So this, if we'll put Tomato might encourage the party to fight later in the scene. Right, there we go. Lemon is like a fun uncle. He's definitely an uncle, but a fun uncle. He's a protective uncle, that's for sure. This is just something I had because I have Neverwinter Nights. Used to mess around in the tool set as a kid a lot. Oh, right, so you need the actual game then to be able to use the tool. I say. I'm still curious, though. Because you do a lot of dialogue stuff as well, don't you, Master Emerald? And I'm sure you've used some different tools and you've got your faves. So here we go. Let's get Plum's texting now then. So let's remind ourselves what it says. They thank the hero for bringing them the most important component they need for their their masterpiece. Rose's blood mixed with the secret herbs of the forest so they can make a magic paint that they can use to bring paint to life. Okay, so things get complicated now. There's a lot of stuff to explain, and we want to be careful that we don't just throw exposition. You know, we don't want Plum to just roll off things. We want it to the conversation to happen naturally. And this is something that's a little bit of a pet peeve of mine with villains. I'll explain it in a sec. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes villains can just roll off what their plans are, and they're like, we're doing this, and they're explaining to the heroes what their master plans are, and you kind of like, hang on a minute, you shouldn't really be telling us what your master plan is. You know, that's not very smart when we're the enemies. But sometimes that can be like the lazy way of just quickly explaining what it is the villains are up to. So in this scene, that is something we might have to face, because obviously it's all going to come out what they plan to do, but we're going to do it in a good way, not in a way where the fruits are stupid and they just tell us what it is. And it can be a challenge to pull that off, but obviously it'll be cool if we can. Hi Amazing, how are you doing today? It's good to see you. Plum Dilly options. I was struggling with Draw.io, so look for something else. I'm not familiar with a lot of things, so just looking round. Yeah, and like you said as well, I remember you saying, Master Emerald, that it lags sometimes as well when you start putting too much dialogue in, which is a bit of a pain as well. And I've had to start to separate the scenes now as well because of that. But mainly my only fault with Draw.io is that it can be a little bit, you know, like when the text goes back to the format you don't want it in, and you have to put it back to how it was, and it can just be a little bit naughty in that way sometimes. Not the easiest, but I'm not sure if there's anything out there that would be able to not do that. Who knows? I suppose you have to try them to find out. You can try wireframe. Oh, right. Wireframe CC. Yeah, maybe that. How are you doing, Amazing? I hope you're having a good Thursday. Okay, so this is definitely the hard bit of the scene, because it's going to require a bit of thought on how to smartly reveal all this stuff. We don't want to just throw it at our player, because that's boring. So let's but it doesn't really hurt if we just write some rough notes and ideas as dialogue at first, which is what I was saying yesterday too. Sometimes, you know, you gotta do that for your first draft to just get the ideas down. So let's have a base to start on then. So thank you for bringing us the most important component we needed for our masterpiece. Yeah, let's just get that in and then think if that's something he would say. So he does the same thing as the others. He jumps out the fruit basket. Towards the hero. I'd say that he would, because he's going to be talking to him. Also before he says thank you to the hero, he needs to see Rose first, doesn't he? So we'll deal with Rose first, I'll say. So, see Rose. So he's going to be very happy seeing Rose. They brought her to us. Yeah, he might say something like to sum it up, he'd probably be like calming the group down and be like, it's okay, they're not bad, they brought her, Rose, to us. You know, so because at the moment tomato, lemon and blueberry aren't there, well, especially tomato and lemon, they're not happy with us, they're being very aggressive, but Plum will quell. Makes sense if he would sort of quell the situation. But even though he seemed like the calm one, you know, he's evil in a more understated way, you know. So we've also got to think how we can get Apple involved in this conversation too. It's Thursday. I've been doing nothing for the past 2 weeks. Yes, sometimes we need weeks like that, and it is Thursday. It's gone really quick, hasn't it, this week? Oh my goodness me. Right, so he could say something like, what would they call each other? That's actually a thought. Friends. It's okay. I don't imagine him saying it's okay. I don't think it's okay would be a language a clever, wise professor would use. It's something I'd say. It's okay, everyone. But I don't think Plum would. But time to start getting into the voice of a professor. I'm gonna do a Google on my phone. Because I was doing this yesterday as well. I was Googling old people insults, what old people would insult younger people with. And there was some really unusual words I'd never heard of before. Calm. We'll move this up here. Calm down, friends. She's here. They brought her to us. Maybe italics for that. I do know about the italics. The more I think of it, it's a bit, we'll see. I'm not even sure about the dialogue line, but it's a starting point. So now the conversation has to kind of go to so they thank the hero for bringing them the most important component they need for their masterpiece. Okay, so I doubt that the Plum will be like, thank you, hero, for giving us our most important component masterpiece. Because, you know, it's revealing the plan, which, like I say, I personally don't like that. When villains reveal their plans, it's a bit silly. And like the only time I can kind of tolerate that is if like the hero's locked up or injured and the villain's like kind of gleefully sort of, he's like happy that the hero's lost and he knows there's no chance. So in that situation there wouldn't be anything weird about the villain revealing their plan because I think the hero's already lost anyway. But when they've like, you know, just met them, and it seems like a bit silly to like say what their plans are. So I'm trying to think of an approach to do that. I've been playing Doom in the meantime. Oh, that's a first person shooter, isn't it? Get a genre I'm very bad at. Right. So Apple needs to be introduced. But there's an option as well for a rose reaction at this point as well. Because we don't want Rose to just be standing there like a statue while all this is going on. A worried face, maybe. You know, she's about to be sacrificed, so can you imagine her having a sort of worried face? Should we get rid of these divider lines? There we go. So I think we should talk about lemon and plum in separate boxes. He is the brains of the group, and his evil side is far less obvious than tomato, for example. Oh, his evil side is... Hang on, there's a better way to put that. Hi Ryan, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. And Kia as well. Final Fantasy. Oh, this isn't a Final Fantasy 11 song. Yes, got that playlist on of all the Final Fantasies. 9 hours long, this playlist. I wouldn't say far less obvious, but it's less obvious than tomato. Also, we'll say about blueberry as well. Nobody would ever suspect him of being evil. Right, He is so adorable that nobody would ever suspect him of being evil. He is the brains of the group. Due to his calm manner, his evil side is less obvious than Tomato. So yeah, I think it's good having Plum be a calm one. So guys, I'm basically writing the dialogue for those of you that are just coming in. This is the scene just before the first boss encounter. I'm actually gonna say that scene just before first boss. Boss. Well, bosses, you know, it's all the fruits that we're fighting here. These little guys here, these are the boss, first boss of the game. And this is at the scene where we meet them. And it's just before we have to fight them. And so we're just putting it together. I'm kind of labelling each of the dialogue boxes with a little short description of each of the characters, so if anybody at all has any dialogue ideas, it'll be helpful for you guys to have an understanding of what their voice is like and the sort of way they talk, so that we can keep a consistent voice. So for sure, it'd be so cool, super cool if we can at least get a rough first draft down of this scene today, I'd say. Ever link 3 to 5 sheep when you're barely able to solo one? Go, good times. What's that? How's the scene coming along? Just got here. Hi Mouse, welcome back to stream. How are you doing today? Your game makes me hungry. I'm not surprised because, you know, there's a fruit there and they look very, very tasty, don't they? Look at them. Will you be needing any voice acting for your video game project? Well, this is, right now it's a non-voice acted game because it's a 2D RPG and it's the way it is, the style and the kind of games were inspired by games like Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy VI, and that kind of visual style. That, as you probably know, those games don't have voice acting in them, so we're kind of going for that same thing. And I wouldn't like say I'd completely rule it out and say, oh no, we won't, but you know, if we're gonna have it, we'd have to like do it in episode 1. I wouldn't want to like not have any in the earlier episodes and then suddenly in episode 3 there's voice acting. That would be very jarring. So if we were gonna have it, we'd have to have it from the start, and that isn't something we've implemented. But yes, that is another thing I was saying as well, because there's no voice acting, it's even more important with how we approach our dialogue and the voices of the characters, because it's a lot harder to not make all the characters sound the same, you know, when there's no voice acting. There's always that risk of everybody sounding the same. So yeah, definitely giving them a voice is something I'm trying to learn, and it's fun. Hi Rose, a squirt, Russian squitter, a spoiled spud, multi-mushroom, chewed up leaf, and other description for expired projects seem like they'd made for good installs. I love those, National. Right, let me get those up in my notepad file, because as you can see, we like labelling. We can't, what I sort of do is I if there's a dialogue line I'm stuck at and I can't think of anything, I tend to put it in brackets, such as like I've got, oh, Carol can say something to Tomato that's insulting, but we haven't thought of a word yet, so I put it in brackets so we can go back to it later. So that's very helpful, National Mars, because we might be able to think of it, put one of those in there if it fits well, and that'll be one job done. So as you can see, lots of insulting words here that we want. So yeah, for Lemon's insult, we're after a something that he'd say to a woman who's younger than him, I guess. What would old people call a woman how would they insult a younger woman, an old man? That's interesting. That was something I was going to try and research yesterday, actually, but we got distracted by something else. So I'll actually be more detailed with that one. And insult an old man would call a younger woman here. Because Carol's younger Lemon's an old man and Carol's younger than him, so, and say some insulting back, so I will say tomato insult here. Yeah, so if we got any, let's reread those insults, but I put them in my notepad file anyway, National, so that, you know, they'll probably be appropriate in general anyway, so it'll be good to have those. And Tox, how are you doing? Did you put purple in your hair? No, it's just the lighting, Tox. It sometimes makes my hair look like it's got a purple shine on it. So that's why. A millennial. Oh yeah, that would be so weird if he said that. Which is why I put a kappa. Millennial. It'll really take us out of the world, wouldn't it, if that was there? Be like, hang on, are we on planet Earth here? Okay, so what have we got? Spoiled spud. That's great for a potato, because a spud's a potato, right? Or what is it? Because it could, maybe I'm wrong. I'm intrigued. Is a spud a potato? Multiple should chewed up, leave other descriptions. Rotten squisher. Squisher could be a tomato. Or no, squirt could be a tomato. Spoiled squirt. Because he is spoiled, isn't he? I'm gonna... What? How would Carol hurt somebody? She'd kind of jump on them, wouldn't she? She'd squish him. She'd squish him with her barrel, the bottom of her barrel. I'll squish you, you spoilt squirrel. Oh God, that's a tongue twister. Turns to face tomato with a disgusted face. Faces tomato. With a disgusted expression, actually. Heavy barrel. She is a heavy barrel, look at her. So, just thinking. So, oi. So was it squirt? Yeah, squirt was your first idea, National Mars, but we've also got squisher. But squirt seems to... What is a squirt? I'm going to define that now. I like how it sounds, but I want to make sure I've got the meaning right. It can either be a liquid to be ejected from a small opening, which is kind of what tomatoes do. They squirt, don't they? You know, if you squish a tomato, it will squirt out. And it also is a puny, insignificant person too. So double whammy. Double whammy indeed. I don't know if she should say oi again because she's already said oi here. So I'm inclined to not have it again. It says that spoil isn't a word. Is it ED? Is that why? It must be ED. I put a T there instead. Seems mean, but silly to call her that. What a heavy barrel. Yeah. But it's a good thing. She's thick. People love it. That's why they want to romance her. Okay, put there. It's a little bit wonky, these arrows. There we go. So I feel like she could say something else in front of that, something like, excuse me, or how dare you. So Carol's a very hostile person. Let's remember this. Carol is hostile. Her trope is Sundayer. She does not take kindly to insults to her. She would go nuts at that. So it's an opportunity for her to really get mad at this point. She will always rip anyone to pieces who insults her, who dares to insult her. There we go. So sport is a word I've always... See, I did too. I always thought spoilt was with a T. But it, like, said it was wrong. It had a red line under it. So I don't even know anymore. Maybe it is ED. These sort of things I always, like, check and stuff before I finish the dialogue, for sure, and put it in RPG Maker. But interesting. Better soup or you'll never catch up. That is a really good pun. I like it. Ketchup, I get it. For once, I actually get a joke. But what's the soup bit? Better soup or you'll never catch up. I get the catch-up bit. I'm going to say that as well. Talks. It's a bit potty, but that hole in a barrel for wine to come out is its bunghole. That bit there. This bit at the top. That bit. That's her bum. Oh my god, that's Carol's bum. I didn't even know. I thought her bum would be at the bottom. You find out something new every day. Is this true, guys? Or am I mistaken? I don't think she's a wine barrel though. Yeah, if she's not a wine barrel, does that still mean it's her bum? because we don't actually know what sort of barrel they are, what any of them are actually, because it hasn't been discussed what they usually transport. We know that they're going to be used for raindrops later, and that's what their purpose is for why they've been kidnapped. So that the antagonist can use raindrops illegally inside them. But there was obviously, Carol's lived a life before that point, and she's obviously had goods inside her of many parts during her life. We haven't talked about what they could be yet, so that's always up for discussion too. That one at the top, I'm not sure. I think you're right. She's an item barrel. Yeah, that's what she is to our hero now. She's kind of offered herself to us, hasn't she? She's like, I'll be your inventory. That isn't Carol's voice, by the way. I'm trying to imagine what sort of voice Carol would have if she was voice acted. So I'll squash you, Sports Square. And I like this because Lemon is the perfect one to come out and say, don't make me turn you into an easel with a young woman insult, because he's protective of his babies, you know. He, like, Blueberry the most, but I like how he's suddenly being protective there. And then, yeah, what they said, squish. And I don't know whether that's the baby language we're going to use, but that is a good starting point at least. And then he, like, calms down the situation. She's here. They've brought her to us. Right, so one thing I did want to do is make sure we show the relationship between Blueberry and Lemon in that cutscene, but any filling in of stuff like that we can always put in between dialogue boxes later on after we've done the first draft. But it'd be cool if we can at least get the main part in first. So, worried face. Rose has had a reaction. We've had a bit of Carol talk. The hero's not said anything yet, but there hasn't really been the opportunity to have a choice at this point, because as I was saying yesterday, the only time the hero speaks is when you got a choice in our game. A choice of different dialogue options. The hero will never just say anything out of the blue without the player's input, because the hero is completely decided by the player. So it feels like a good opportunity to get Apple to come out the bowl now, and then we would have had all the fruits introduce themselves. And that would be really good then. But let's think how this can be done. I suppose the first thing that's come into my mind is that Apple would be like, don't even think about it, sort of thing. He's gonna like be against this plan because Plum's talking about, yeah, she's here now, we can do our master plan just like we wanted to. And I feel like Apple could come out and be like, maybe it's not such a good idea to show his reluctant leader side. And we know that we want to like show, because what we've said about Apple as a character, let's get the scale of evil up. What we've said about Apple as a character, he's the token good teammate trope, which basically means you are wrestling between your loyalty for your friends and your conscience, because your friends are evil, but your conscience is you're good. You're actually the odd one out in the group. You're the good one and they're not so good. And that's basically what Apple is. He's wrestling with his conscience, and but also at the same time he has great loyalty for these guys, so he's very conflicted as a character. And it's pretty cool how, like, he hasn't become super evil already being in their company, because you'd think that by now they would have completely, you know, turned him into a monster just like them. So he has a really strong moral compass, you know, to not already be peer pressured by them by this point. Grill, hi boy. Yeah, you're a boy. You've got boy in your name. Right, so let's get Apple in then. We've already got apples. Got apple Sprite, so Apple's my favourite now. He's my favourite character out of this group. It used to be Blueberry, but now it's Apple. For obvious reasons. He's literally the fruit version of Jamie Lannister, so how could I not like him? Whereas Blueberry, I still love Blueberry, but he's literally the fruit version of Joffrey. But definitely much cuter than Joffrey. So turns, opens eyes and jumps out of basket towards, well, we don't know who he'd go to yet, so we won't put that. It looks like that opening at the top is where the downspout connects, so rainwater can flow into her if she were a rain barrel. Oh, really? That's awesome, because one thing I'm not so good at is picturing how things worked, like technically, and the process of things, how they're done. That can be a bit beyond my mind and imagination, so it's really cool that you can actually picture that. So yeah, that's interesting, but all I'm thinking now is that's her bum, her butt. Carol's butt. But you know, she's a barrel. It's not a human butt. It's all okay. Okay, so we've got. They thank the hero for bringing them the most important component they need for their masterpiece. Rose's blood mixed with secret herb the fire so it can make magic paint that they can use to bring their paints to life. So I think we need to be very subtle with what gets revealed there, because maybe just reveal bits and us as the player put it together ourselves. And it could kind of be revealed from Apple's reluctancy. Apple's kind of like, I'm not sure about this, and the others are like, yes, we're doing this. And during that little conflict, that it kind of, us as the player might get an idea of what's going on here. I prefer that approach than just one or two of the fruits just revealing, listing off what their plan is to the hero. That would be very, very silly of them to do. So I prefer the plan being revealed in that way. What do you guys think? Feel free to say. Carol is a barrel of laugh. She is. Wow, Carol, does she even have a sense of humour, Carol? She's a funny one, isn't she, our Carol? I don't know. I don't know what she'll probably just bite your head off over anything, because she's a Sundayer. I feel like I keep giving away too much in my text in my project at the moment. Sorry, Caps, it's okay. Twisted. What are you giving away? I'm curious. Right, so this isn't, something like this isn't such a good idea, but I don't want him to seem like a massive like weakling coward either with the dialogue, so we got to be careful with this one. He's, at the end of the day, he's a leader, he's determined, and he's let me have a think. Let's do some dialogue research. Or for now, I'm going to just do it the quick way and say, but I'm going to put in brackets, probably could think of something better, I thought reluctancy was a word. Reluctant. Just think that the players should piece together, and I feel I'm explaining too much lore for each character, but I'm going over it now. What do you mean, Twisted Mouse? I'm lost. Reluctance, maybe. Well, I think that's fine. It doesn't need to be perfectly written, because these bits in brackets are just my notes, as long as it makes sense to you guys. Okay, so I think that sums him up fine. Okay, so it's like for me not made too much sense. Yeah, I'm just wondering what you mean, because I've not seen. I don't know if it's Twitch being silly or what, but I've not seen anything that you've said in chat about explaining too much at all. So there's no worries there at all. I've not seen any of it. I don't know if it's broke or if but yeah, don't worry, if you want to explain stuff, feel free to, but I've not seen any today, so maybe Twitch is booked. Okay, so I think at this point, when Apple shows he's reluctant, one of the other fruits is going to go insane, to put it lightly. They're not going to like it, because they're like, nothing's going to stop our plan, so accept it, sort of thing. And let's think of what can be said, because it'd be cool to reveal something in the next bit of dialogue. But we need her Like one of them could say something like that. Otherwise we won't be able to make, and then maybe it could be tomato. It could be like, we need her because we need to make, and then they like cut him short because they're like, hang on, shut up, don't tell him what we're doing, sort of thing. This is a fun idea. Hi Overland Gamer, welcome to stream and thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. Hope you're having a good Thursday. And yeah, if you've got any questions, Overland, feel free to ask. It's good to meet new faces. Oh, you mean yours? All right, I get it now. I get it. No worries, Twisted Mouse. No worries at all. I hope yours is going well. Yeah, it would probably be tomato. And because he hasn't spoke for a while, it would make sense that it would be him who speaks next anyway. So what I'm thinking of doing, folks, actually now there's a few of you here, and because on stream I'm only like showing a certain bit, I'm gonna make a link of this so I can share, so you guys can actually look at it yourselves, because you might want to actually read, and I might not be showing it on screen at the time. So where's the publish link? That's it. So the diagram is not public to go share. Should get shareable link. So copy link. Now I'll just go on to a link site, a link shortener website. The LY didn't let me do it. Okay, so thank you, Clambot, for the follow. Welcome. Are you a bot? Okay. So let's get a command for that then. So that link, folks, if you click it, it should. I hope it does. But let me know if that link leads you to this. You will have to open it in the app, I think. But that way you guys can actually have a closer look at what I'm doing. And it'll be easier to give, like, you know, any ideas, suggestions, if you could see it, I suppose. Okay, so let's get tomatoes. So, teen lingo. I suppose teens can just say things and get ultra defensive quickly. So maybe that is fine. There we go, I needed an M dash. But we need her for our, and then he gets shushed. So I'm just taking this in the approach that I think it should be taken right now, or the first approach that's coming to my head with how to put a scene together, but don't be afraid to have a say. But we need her for our, and what he was going to say, he was going to reel off the masterpiece because he's a silly teenager and he doesn't realise he's about to tell the enemies what his plans are. He was about to say, but we need her because she's the most, for our masterpiece, he was going to say that. But he's going to get stopped. And then maybe Plum. I think Plum would be a good one here to speak. Can be like, shush child. You don't want to say. Is shush your actual, like, proper word? That's what I was wondering. Be careful to... Actually, so it's kind of revealing there a little bit that Plum's Tomato's mentor and that Tomato is a child. Well, he's not, he's a teen, but, you know, he's still a child. Because we have here that there's a relationship between Plum, Blueberry and Tomato. Since the kids are the most evil, Plum tries to get them interested in learning by hyping them up about how powerful magic is. And it might be hard to, like, reveal that sort of relationship between them in this particular cutscene, but... Because the one thing about being a writer is sometimes you have all these character relationships and this world building, but you don't have the opportunity to reveal it all to the audience, especially at one time. But it's nice to, like, give little hints of it and let the audience work out for themselves. Yasmin, how are you doing? It's good to see you again, Yasmin. Hope your week has been going okay. We are doing our cutscene with our fruits. We've done a lot. We've had a lot of rambles. We've started to put the scene together. And I'm going to give you command again for anyone who is interested in having a look. The link should take you straight to this, but you might need to open it inside the app to see it properly. But I've labelled everything, just kind of like explaining about the characters a bit more, so that people who might not know them that well have a bit of an idea what they're like. And we're doing okay. Putting it slowly together, and this is just really a first draft, so there's a few bits to fill in certain areas that haven't been filled in yet. Doing okay, share one more day work tomorrow, then 2 weeks off, 2 weeks off. Are you getting the Final Fantasy remake? I'm not sure who is and who isn't, but if anyone who is off or not working or at the moment, then now's the time to be playing that game. Because it is out. It's out next week, isn't it? Fun times. Okay, so I feel like now is a really good point for the hero to actually have a dialogue choice, because there's an opportunity there for us as the player to be like, what plan? You know, or there's an opportunity for a number of dialogue choices depending on the way we want to approach it, I suppose. Because what else would we have after that? Do you know what I mean? The fruits are kind of going to shut up at this point because of that. And Rose is a mute, so she can't say anything. Carol could be like, what plan? But I feel like it's an opportunity for the hero to say something, seeing as he hasn't yet. So, and more reason for choices as well is always fun. More excuses to have more choices. So this is how we've done it in the past. I'm going to get up some of our other choices that we've done in other scenes, and we'll just follow that same format. So this is an example. And compassion, bravery and wisdom. I always like to use them all if I can. But not every single dialogue choice is going to allow us to use all of them. So, but we'll see what we can do. Minecraft, there's a mod pack I still have to finish. Oh yeah, well that's good as long as you've got something to do and play. Not everyone's into Final Fantasy like me. Thank you AW for that follow. How are you doing? Welcome to the stream. Okay, so I am going to just copy these for quickness, I think. Probably these ones actually. Now I'll copy these ones. Nope, we'll do a paste in place this time. Oh, it doesn't allow us to do that. Lame. It's a little bit messy, but we'll tidy up the boxes at the end. Doing all right, good to hear it. And if you have any questions, AW, or anything at all, feel free to ask, or anybody else. What are you working on today? We're doing dialogue. If you want to have a closer look, here you go, folks. It's read only, but you let you open it in the map, and that's how it should look. And I think if you click that, it'll let you open it in the app. And yeah, so this is basically for anybody who's just popped in or is curious. It's the scene for just before the very first boss, and these are our first boss. These guys here. They'll be the first official boss encounter in the game. And we've spent this week chatting about them, developing them as characters, and we've begun putting the scene together as well. So I usually do it all first like this in a little piece of software like this, get everything written down, and when I'm happy with it, I go into the program and then I put it in there after, and then while doing the scene. And that's probably what we'll be doing next week. Hi there. Hi, Lord. Welcome back. How are you doing today, Lord? So this is interesting because I want to have choices, but they don't always come to me straight away. So, but one of them, probably the bravery one. This one might suit. And yeah, sometimes we stuck and we can't always say, we might not be able to think of a +1 for wisdom, and then we'll just have 2. There's been times that we only had bravery and compassion there, for example. So I'm just thinking, because this is just something now that I thought we could do. I didn't have any plans to put in a hero dialogue choice option, but it feels like a good opportunity to, with how the dialogue's gone and the direction it's taken. So the first one I'm thinking is something like this. It's probably not going to be perfect. It's going to be a bit, might have to change it, but this is first draft. So doing okay, finish these and my main character going to work on the texturing next. Awesome, exciting times. Good luck, and show us when you're done. Like, what plans is literally the most simple thing that you could say in response to that. Because really, the reason we're here in the first place, I mean, for those of you that don't know, we have a story so far video. That video, it's only a couple of minutes long, but it explains at the end that we are on our way to send Rose, who is this character here. We're on our way to send Rose to be sacrificed to these monsters. We didn't expect the monsters to look like these guys. We just knew it was going to be a monster. But it ended up being this bunch of fruits. So, really, that's our job. We were given that as a quest by an NPC to send Rose to be sacrificed, because they think she's dangerous. She's not. She's lovely, but she's very misunderstood. She's a vampire, you see, and the fear that she's gonna kill everybody in their local village. So that's why they said, yeah, your job is to sacrifice her to the monsters of the Everbloom Forest. And yes, they want her. They were expecting her. So something like, don't fear us, we're just here to give Rose to you. I don't know if that'd be compassion though, now I'm thinking about it, because giving Rose to them isn't the most compassionate thing to do. It's like you're saying someone, it's okay for somebody to be murdered. So probably in wisdom, because that's the smart way. Don't fear us, we're just here to give Rose to you. What plans? Something very, bold and brass is probably brave. And compassion might be something like, we don't have to be strangers. Let's be friends. Honestly, these are just rough ideas, and they kind of work, but they might be a bit rough around the edges. So, of course, if anybody has any ideas, feel free to say. I'm just improvising here. Show you on Discord? Yeah, I reacted to it. I did indeed. So I'd definitely like to see it, to see more. So feel free to post more. I smell food. It's making me want foods already. So now, because we've managed to fill in a different line from the hero for each of these, compassion, bravery and wisdom, it means that the conversation's going to start branching at this point, and we're going to get different reactions from the different things we've said. Ultimately, it's still going to lead to a boss battle. We can't escape that. That's part of the game. You know, the boss battle is, you're not going to avoid it by being nice. But what we can do is completely change the outcome of things that happen in general and our relationships with the fruits. And we do know there is the option to keep them alive at the end. So things that what you could have said here with the one that you chose could have an impact on that ending as well. So we'll have a think about that. Official Quiggy, thank you so much for a follow. Welcome to the stream. And folks, for those that are new here as well, I'm on YouTube. I upload every single stream onto YouTube. So if you want to see some of the previous ones, you can, fear not. If you want to catch up, because we are on stream 120 today, aren't we? That's a good number, 120. Okay, so let's think of the different things that could happen here, because the one thing I like about this is that the conversation could definitely take different turns based on the choices picked, and reveal different things about the characters that you wouldn't have known as well if you picked another choice. But I want my choice to go deeper than just that. I mean, that's one nice touch for them, but I definitely want them to have more long-term consequences as well. But sometimes those consequences aren't always obvious when you're improvising them, especially not at first, but we could get some ideas for sure, and that's what's fun. Lavetti, thank you for the follow as well, appreciate that. Is this a Twitch API RPG chat plugin? What's a Twitch API RPG chat plugin? Just wondering, be a bit more specific if that's okay. I'm not the best at answering techie questions ever, because it's not the thing I'm most good at. But welcome. So let's think one at a time we'll start with this one then. We don't have to be strangers, let's be friends. But first, before we get into that, let's just remind ourselves of what still has to happen. Okay, so there's I'm gonna highlight what we gotta do. We'll make this, we'll just change the colour of this for now, because this is the bit we've still got to do, and we've already done that bit, so it's just going to be easier to follow. Twitch has its own developers add-on API, so you can create your own plugins. Oh, like extensions, you mean? I don't know what extensions you're on about specifically now. I don't know if we have any. The only extension I've got is the schedule one in my panels and a closed captions one, I think. I don't use any others apart from that. I think she's just making an RPG with the input help of Twitch chat. That's right, Lovette is correct. This is an RPG like Unity game. Yeah, it's made on RPG Maker MV. And we're doing some dialogue planning today. We're getting the dialogue written up so we can make the scene next week. So all the planning stuff today. And if anyone wants to have a peek at the dialogue that we're actually working on, feel free to have a look. But yes, Lovetti, as Lovetti says, I'm not sure at all what you mean, Quiggy, by API or extension. I am curious though, mainly because if that's what people think this stream is, then I want to make sure that it's not misleading at all, because titling your stream is very important and making sure people know what it is you do. I always like to make sure I make that clear. Okay, so I'm thinking in one of these branches they could perhaps reveal the plans, because they trust the hero. Perhaps definitely not that one. I'd say either one of these. What I am going to actually do is copy and paste this into the document we've got open at the moment, just so I don't have to keep switching between the two. And this is my drawback with Draw.io. How it does this, completely reformats the text when you copy it. So we're gonna have to copy the whole thing and just delete what we don't want. And this is another thing with Draw.io, guys. Look what's happened. I pasted it and it's gone in the middle of nowhere. And there's no paste in place either. So because there isn't, I can't solve this problem other than just drag it absolutely miles till we get to where we need. Holy, I don't even know where the stuff is. So this will help. Page view. There we go. But that's something, because we were having just a little bit of a ramble earlier about Draw.io and other alternative programs that do this same thing, like dialogues and that, organising dialogue. And I wouldn't rule out looking for another one. Not that I dislike Draw.io, because it's good in some ways, but there's a few little issues, just like that one, for example, that can be a bit of a pain. Basically, I think what he means is it's an RPG you can control via messages in chat. He's wanting to know if this game communicates through Twitch in some way, I think, to which the answer is no. Oh, right, okay. That makes sense. It is interesting, though. There's quite a few game dev screens on here where you basically control a character in game by typing stuff like move left or like player attack 2. Okay, that's interesting. I'm actually glad that you mentioned that, because if that's how it sounds, my title, then I probably need to do a reword, because it's very important people don't get misled, of course. But yes. That's interesting. I didn't think about it like that, actually. And hi, Gretch. How are you doing? I'm doing decently, Gretch. How are you? How are things going? How's your Final Fantasy journey? Adam is making a game where you can control a sheep in Minecraft level and have it attack other ones, I think. Yeah, I've been experimenting with my titles actually. I've kind of been changing them on a very regular basis the last few weeks because I like to see what works best. And this one that I've got now is one that I've only had for the last week or so. One thing I liked about this title is that it fits perfectly. You know how titles get chopped off when you can see them when you're scrolling down all the streams. Well, this particular title doesn't get chopped off. It shows all the important bits, so that's why I liked it, because my old title did get chopped off. So I changed it for that reason, to make it a bit shorter and sweet, but the drawback of making it shorter and sweet maybe has sounded a bit misleading perhaps. So that's something to consider. That's just people. Yeah. Do you do any coding? Know any coding languages? No, I don't. This is mainly why I use RPG Maker, because it's a very visual engine. I've got absolutely no code. I didn't study it or anything. So I'm all self-taught. Everything I do is just learning as I go kind of thing. Doing well, absolutely halfway through Final Fantasy VI now. Awesome. Final Fantasy VI is one that I did play, but I was too young to really appreciate it. I didn't finish it because of that, but it's always one I wanted to have a proper go at. Honestly thought it was a game like that at first. Yeah, I do want to make sure it's worded right, because it's easy to just be like, I'll do it my way, which I can be a bit like that at times. I can be like, I'm doing it how I want. But, you know, if it's going to make people scroll past your stream because they've misunderstood, then you're kind of kicking yourself, you know, as you're ruining yourself as a streamer in a way, and your community growth. So of course I want to make sure the title is fine and no one misunderstands. If people are coming in and think it's something else, it's my responsibility to change it. Making an RPG with chat. Yeah, maybe it's the Twitch. Do you reckon it could be the word Twitch that's doing the making people? Because it doesn't even have to be a huge change of the wording. It can just be something tiny, like removing the Twitch word, and then it could make more sense. So yeah, what do you guys think? I know, because I was going to put 2D in. I was going to put a 2D RPG as well with chat, because main reason why is because I've had a lot of people come in asking if it's 3D, and you know, some people have thought it's a 3D RPG, so it's always good to be clear on what kind of RPG it is as well. But I didn't put that in the title because it made it get chopped off, and I didn't like that. So if I get rid of Twitch, I'll have room for the 2D then as well. Twitch chat isn't confusing to me or most other people, I would assume, but changing it will help yeah, that's the only thing, Rex. I mean, it's not like everybody's not going to get it. I'd say 90% of people would probably get that it's just a Twitch community RPG thing. But if there's even that 10% that think it's the API or extension or whatever, then I want to make sure that, yeah, that's fixed. Someone said that yesterday too. Yeah, about the 3D to Twisted Mouse. Adding RPG Maker title would help. See, this is how I used to approach it, Yasmin. When I started off doing this, I was very much like, I'm an RPG Maker streamer and very focused on that. But I want to be honest and say I don't want to be all like, this is RPG Maker, because to me, it's not about it being RPG Maker. It doesn't matter what software I do this in. It's about the project and what we do as a community and how the project is kind of done that makes it what it is, not really the engine that we use. I mean, it's just a tool, isn't it? RPG Maker, it's a tool that we use, and it's a great one for me, being someone that's not a coder. But really, whatever one it's in, it doesn't matter. So I'm kind of like going away from the this is RPG Maker to more this is an RPG that I do with my Twitch chat and community. Does that make any sense, guys? But it's a little moot because, again, if you put literally every detail in your title, people will still get confused and get the wrong information from it. Yeah, for sure. It can be a tricky thing with titles. Oh, thank you, Lord. Thank you. But yeah, I just found like when I used to be more about, oh, this is RPG Maker, I tended to definitely draw people that had an interest in RPG Maker into the stream, but those kind of people didn't really stay in the community long term because they were more interested in the software itself and how the software's used and how I do things in RPG Maker rather than the project itself. So I want people to ultimately be here for the project rather than because of the software I use, if that makes sense. So it's worth changing a bit, but wouldn't stress too much about it because no matter what, people will get it wrong. Yeah, so I just think what I'll probably do is just get rid of the Twitch bit, so it's just chat. In all honesty, that's probably the best thing to do. And it used to be making an RPG with my Twitch community, but like I said, it got chopped off, so it said Twitch.com, Twitch Co. So because it got chopped off, I was kind of wanting to make it Twitch Chat because it shortened it and people could see it all. And the one thing I wasn't sure about is making RPG in my Twitch communities, which I started to realise over time, is that it doesn't sound very exclusive. It makes it all, it could scare people off because they're like, well, I'm not in the community, so I'm going to scroll past this one. I want to be more welcoming to new people and be like, you can join in, no matter what. Like, I don't want it to make people think this is super inclusive and just my current Twitch community sort of thing. So I tended to want to get away from that wording. So yeah, I just did lots of experimenting, seeing what works and what doesn't. I first joined because you had it as RPG Maker and was trying to learn, but stayed because I like seeing your process and helped me approach my own project in a different way. Yeah, so Twisted Mouse, exactly, you were interested in the RPG Maker thing, but you're like one of the few that stayed, that were interested in it, but most people that would come would only be interested in RPG Maker and not the project. And I kind of went away from being a tutorial sort of person, like a teacher. That's not what I'm doing. I don't want to teach people how to use RPG Maker because it kind of started going in that direction, and I wanted it to be about this project. So that for sure is the reason I've started to not mention RPG Maker as much. And it's not like I'm not going to mention it. If everyone asks, oh, what program? I'll always be like, it's RPG Maker, and it's in my descriptions. It'll be in the FAQ as well when the FAQ part of the site's up. But it's very important to me. I feel like this is a very unique project. And what's unique about it isn't that it's made in RPG Maker, it's the nature of the project and the fact that we all do it together. And I ask for a lot of input from you guys, because most games out there don't do that. Like, they're very like, their game is very important to them and they want it to be their baby sort of thing. But this is like such a we'll all do it together thing, and that sort of thing is rare, I think. So I want it to be more that, to be the selling point of what we do here. I think that'll be a good change and more clear that it's together with the community. Oh right, just getting rid of the Twitch bit, you mean? Because I've said loads of stuff, so I forgot which bit that refers to now. I first joined because oh yeah, I've read that bit. I guess if you really wanted to change it, you could put making an RPG together or something like that. Yeah, I think that's really the way of something like that works. I like it to be short and sweet, simply so it's all there and not chopped off for sure. Anything too long is yeah, but mainly that it's exclusive, that anyone can take part and join in. You don't have to be somebody that's been a regular in the community, because saying, oh, this is me and my Twitch community, like sort of thing, it's like, it could be a bit intimidating. Maybe I'm wrong and some people wouldn't think that at all, but I know if it was me and I saw somebody doing that, I would probably be too intimidated to join in, because I'd think it was them and their community and I was not in the community, so I wouldn't even try to join in. But that's because I'm a bit of a shy introvert. But yeah, so saying something that sounds super exclusive, like, yeah, let's make an RPG together, it's like anyone's welcome, then I think that's a good approach, and it doesn't scare anyone off. The first thing that attracts me to a game dev stream is a preview of a cool scene from the channel list. Preview of a cool scene. Oh, expand on that, because I'm curious what exactly you mean by a cool scene. Channel list. What's the channel list as well? But these are all very interesting like things that I want to find out, that's for sure. That's why I'm asking these questions, so I can make sure I understand. Right, folks, so... But thanks for that. I think this was a really important discussion, because these things matter, in all honesty. I want to make sure that I'm very proud of this project, and I want to make sure people, of course, want to join in. Okay, I'll change this text back to white now. So, because we've got 3 different branches, we've got to think of the different ones. So it's making it a little bit more complicated now, having the branches. We could have easily just have thought, let's just have one. We won't bother doing this, but like I said, Raindrop Chronicles, I want part of its appeal to be the different branches. So I make it a thing. I put the effort in to get to doing these scenes like that. I find it exciting, so let's do it. So yeah, this is another issue I have with Draw.io. It changes the colour of the text sometimes. Just a few little silly things like that, when really it should be staying as it is. So I have to do it like this instead. So I'm just going to write some notes down here before we jump straight into it, because it's a bit overwhelming to just do the dialogue without a plan. And this is literally just the rest of the scene. These few paragraphs here are what happens before the boss fight, and then once we've done all that, it's done. So I'm going to just sum up from beginning to end how it's going to work for each of the routes. And we'll get it working. Like right now, you're not showing anything too interesting. You probably get more people clicking on your channel if, while you're engaging with viewers, you show a level from RPG Maker. Yeah, well, this is the thing, like, I'm not desperate for viewers, I'll just make that clear. And I've got to make sure I stay focused on what I'm doing. If I start getting RPG Maker up and showing off levels, it's going to distract me from writing the dialogue. So I've got to be careful there, do you know what I mean? We've got to stay on topic, most of all, because this is a writing dialogue stream. And yeah, that's not going to be everybody's cup of tea. Some people will be like, this is boring dialogue. But in all honesty, if dialogue's boring to you, this probably isn't the stream or game for you, because this is going to be a very dialogue driven RPG. So this sort of thing is what it is, and that's sort of very niche. So it won't appeal to every gamer. Like, some gamers will be like, I want to just do the battles, and that's fine, because everybody's got what's their cup of tea, haven't they? If you know what I mean. You can't choose what is shown on screen. What I mean is you can't put a thumbnail up on Twitch like you can on YouTube. Yeah, exactly, Rex. It's all random, isn't it, what shows up on the Twitch? So it's just whatever's on the screen at the time. And if I had a level up the whole stream, it means I wouldn't be doing this. So, you know. Loved your science and technology category. Yeah, we're in the science and technology category because that's the most fitting for really what the project is. And it's not like perfect, because I think we're not very technical here. We're far more creative driven than technical and visual, and more about writing and characters and tropes and all that sort of nonsense, rather than code. So in that way, we don't fit perfectly into the category, but it's definitely the only category that our project can really go into, because there isn't any other category that it would fit. So, but there's a lovely bunch of people from the science and technology that pop in, so I think we're doing the right thing by staying here. So that's for sure. What's shown on Twitch preview is what's relevant to what's happening on stream at that moment. Yeah, that's right. I think the project and character proposition has been really good. Yeah, thank you, Twisty Mouse. And, you know, it's what appeals to you. Not everybody's into characters and, like, all this sort of stuff I want to do with this project, and that is okay. I'm not going to be, like, grabbing onto viewers who don't have that as their cup of tea, because that'll be my downfall. I have to stay like with what I'm passionate at, and the people who are like that too will come here if they like it as well and share my passion. The minute I start trying to please everybody and get as many eyes as possible, and I'll be like, I'll just get burnt out and tired because I'm not really doing what I want to do. I'm only making recommendations what she should toss on the screen if she thinks she might be talking to us for a while, since Twitch shows recent frames from the stream as the preview. I have to do the same thing when I'm doing game dev. I write a tabletop RPGs and focus on the task at hand is very key. Yeah, Overland gets it. And writing tabletop RPGs is kind of very... It's a similar sort of thing, you know. I mean, it's not D&D and it's not tabletop, but it's very story driven in a very similar way. And the streams are kind of very chill, very laid back, you know, just nerding out sort of thing, in all honesty. It's not really about... And of course there'll be times when we show off stuff, of course there will. But it has to be relevant to what we're doing at the task at hand. You know what I mean? If we're working on a map, or we're working on a boss fight, then yeah, that's what will be on the screen. But right now, that isn't what we're doing. And one good thing about what I think is really cool about these streams is that we do lots of different things. So, like, next week it will be about scenes, and the week after that it'll be about the boss fight. It just so happens that this week it's about writing the dialogue, because that's what the bit we're on now. Well, it's a bit difficult to stop what you're doing to put some clickbait image. That's a good way to sum it up, for a few minutes and then return to what you're doing. As a streamer, it's not really feasible to halt the stream to put up some interesting image. Yeah, it'd be distracting, and like, I can get it would draw eyes. I can get that it would, but if I did do that and it worked, you know, I'm kind of pleasing people who aren't my real target audience. So in the end, it'll only be my downfall. Totally feel that. You were just talking to us for like 10 minutes with this screen on. But if you're not striving for views, then it's definitely not worth it. I personally may not have clicked her stream for the first time if she wasn't showing something cool. There's too many streamers that only show code. Yeah, and this isn't one that does. Like, if you... the science and technology category, like, there's a lot of very code focused, and that's great. Like, loads of people are into that sort of thing, but this is one of the streams that aren't. You're not going to see code on the screen here, you're going to just see dialogue. You could see anything, it just so happens it's dialogue today. The day before yesterday, it was this. It was just these fruits and the scale of evil. You know, it's just something different every day. It's whatever we're working on at the time. And like I say, if someone thinks, that's not interesting and doesn't click because it's just words on the screen, that probably means that they're not into writing or not into dialogue. And like I say, that's fine. It's fine if you're not, but you know, yeah, I could go on forever with this sort of talk. The alternative would be to not do dialogue during the stream, but that's not feasible because this is the part of the creation process with chat. Agreed, especially since there's no way to guarantee. Yeah, nobody knows what the image is going to be. Like, it's just so random, isn't it? You just don't. And I'm, like I say, I'm not desperate for people to click on my stream. I'm not like fame hungry or anything like that. I'm very like into having a humble, small, intimate community. That's what I want. And of course, I was saying my title, that's important to me because I want to attract people who might love this project. Of course, I want people to know about the project. I want as many people as possible to know, because I don't want anyone to miss out on something that's fun. This is an escape from real life, and it's great for RPG fans, and people out there could love this stuff. So of course I'd want people to find out about it, but of course the people who are interested, that's it, and people who would be genuinely an asset to this game and community, because we've got so many of you here that have been amazing, and we wouldn't have all these great characters and that we've got so far if it wasn't for some of you. So of course I want more people like that who can share their great creative ideas with us. Instead of giving advice, why don't you let the lady do her thing, mate? Yeah, we're on a big conversation debate thing here, but at the same time, these conversations, we can go off track on stream a bit when we get all like this, but it's also important to have these chats even when we do go off track with the stream, because it's important for you guys to get to know me and what I want, like what I'm aiming for with this project as well, so you know me as a person and not just someone who's making a game. I've got a great interest in interactive narrative fiction. I love games with deep dialogue choices and story elements that make a difference in the game's direction. Yeah, and so Overland likes what, like, we're similar with what we like, of course, and this stream definitely attracts that audience, the people that are into that kind of type of game. Characters, anything at all that isn't extremely action based. Believe me, I've tried it. It doesn't work. If you had more control over the image shine, that would be ideal. Oh, have you? Have you tried to get the image changed so people can see a certain one? That's funny. I remember once on your stream, Rex, you was like, you had the zoom in on your camera and you were pulling a face, hoping that would be the image that people see of your stream, and it was just really funny. Because a lot of the times it's not that, but if it was, that would have been funny. But even if you get a really good image, it doesn't guarantee that someone's going to come in anyway. It's just a waste of time. You just do your thing, don't you? You just do your thing, and people who are interested will come. Maybe I'm wrong, but That's how I do it anyway. And yeah. But we kind of have to use what we have. I wouldn't be surprised if we get some sort of thumbnail type thing in the future. Oh yeah, if there was that, that'd be great. Like, it's funny that we're on this topic because I've already been actively putting more effort into my YouTube thumbnails. Like, they were just it was just the Raindrop Chronicles logo before with the dark blue background and the number of the stream, and every thumbnail looked the same. But I've started putting my face on them because clickbait. If my face is there, people are more likely to click, because that's the thing with YouTube. Faces, or not just faces, but anything that looks appealing at all and eye-catching. But faces tend to fall under that. You know, it's better than my other thumbnails, because my other thumbnails all look the same as each other. There was nothing that separated them. So I've already noticed in just the 3 days that they've been changed. I've looked at my analytics, the click rate just gone like from low to that. So it makes a difference. So yeah, of course. But Twitch, we can't, it's not like YouTube, as you say, we can't control it. But anyway, let's carry on with what we've been doing. I think we've all had our little say now. We've all had our say. Okay, so. Right, I'm just going to read that paragraph again to give me some ideas. So, I'm going to highlight the bits. I'm going to do some colour coding because it's just going to be easier to know what to do, I think. Bravery could be yellow. I'm thinking that one of the branches could have, rather than let slip, because I think that's a little bit, maybe a slight bit of a lazy way of revealing the plan if they just let slip. So I'm thinking that one will be revealed if you kind of got them to trust you a bit more and made out that you know, you are their friends, or you're there because you're on their side. Then, you know, they tell you because they trusted you, not because they let it slip. One of the fruits say that they actually plan to pay a number of ferocious ones with it. The thing is, though, of course, it ends with a battle. We're going to get the battle no matter what branch is picked here. So, of course, us as the player will have to reveal that we don't agree with this plan, and that will be what causes the battle in the end. So we'll say the party yeah, we'll just say that it's not the most nice, the most prettiest way of wording it, but it'll do. So I'm thinking like, for the one where, because either of these they could start to trust us, but it's this one here that they clearly wouldn't. If also, hello Legmark, how you doing? I'm absolutely nothing bad whatsoever. Now excuse me while I go to turnip and plan to conquer the world. Curses, how are you doing, Legmark? Coming in with your very, very clever lines as always. Eat a turnip. There was a little bit of a typo, but it was still funny. And thank you for the follow as well, Radioactive. I appreciate that. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing today? And Legmark, how are things? Hope your Thursday's treating you well. Right. So this is always a bit of a challenge to wrap your brain around when thinking of different routes, because you're not following a straight line here. There's different routes. So sometimes I need to get my brain into gear, but we'll get it sorted. Because originally we weren't going to do this probably with the choices. We were going to just keep it a straight conversation, but I always love to just add these branches so that there's different approaches for, you know, how it can go, different scenarios, and the characters react differently based on what you pick. So, and yeah, it just allows the option to potentially have something happen differently in the game, not even just in this scene but later on when you don't expect it. Something that you picked here could completely come back and haunt you without you realising, for a completely different reason, even a different quest. And I always like to just, you know, oh yes, I'm so clever, I need to go into people's stream and release my cleverness. Not good to bottle it all up. Yeah, you should totally do that, Legmark, for sure. Oh, it's good to see you again. We're doing some dialogue stuffs today. Okay, so I'm thinking for the middle one, they're just going to not like that. And it might even lead straight to a battle, that middle one. More info can be real, because all this info is quite interesting here. But it would only be revealed if one of these routes was picked, I'd say. Or this one could be for the what plans that just lie. And then they could honestly just say that one for either of those. I'm on a ramble. Well, thank you, Rose. Looks in mirror. Yeah, I see what you mean. It's very nice to see me. How could I be away for too long? I appreciate you all like my voice. I've had ridiculous amounts of compliments today on it. I'm going to be thinking, you know, I should be a voice act person. The way reading audio books if you guys carry on with all these compliments. But I have no voice left if I do that as well as stream. Okay, well, it goes black, it's silly. fruits make up a lie and explain. So that could literally just be that second paragraph, I guess. Very slightly explain there would appear words. Okay. I mean, this might not even be the dialogue. We might alter it because this is first draft, just as a reminder, guys. Okay, so this one, I suppose because it says we're only here to give rose to you, they could then thank them at this point, and maybe it'd lead to this part. And maybe, yeah, that one for that one. It's kind of like this approach has allowed us to split the narrative, the outline that we had here. Instead of doing it all in one big giant bulk with a linear scene, we're like splitting. We can split them into the choices for what fits best. So it probably will need a little bit of tidying up, but that's a good way to approach it, I think. So how's life with you? Hope you're not going stir crazy with these lockdowns. Nah, I'll go crazy because I'm just a massive hermit, so life to me is just the same. Yeah, so I'm just carrying on with my thing. I'm just getting on with our lovely project. Clearly, I'm not the only one with a big brain around here. I wouldn't say big brain. I'd just say very, very determined and very invested and obsessed with this. That is all it is, and all that you need. Definitely not a big brain. I'm a hermit too. Yeah, hermit is the life. I just see, I love being at home and on my computer. That makes me happy. All this like going out partying thing, I've never understood the appeal myself. Crowds, no. I normally work a lot, so I don't get time to play with RPG Maker and Learn. So there's first few days of lockdown have been nice. I'd say finally doing Pixar has been great. Yeah, that's a good thing. You know, you get time to focus on hobbies that you probably wouldn't normally have time to. That's really nice. Gotta make the most of it. And yeah. If you want to share your pixel art and stuff, Twisted Mouse, don't forget the Creative Work channel. If you want to, of course. Okay, so the fruits. I'm going to just merge all these into one. The fruits begin to trust the party and admit the truth. true that they actually plan. They are planning, depending on the version. So I personally like this now because it shortens the scene as well, doing it this way, because obviously the player's only going to pick one branch out the 3, and whichever one you pick is the bit that we would have got. So instead of getting all this lengthy exposition and all this stuff, you know, being rolled out at you, it's split all those facts and split them on depending on which one you pick, and it just makes it, well, a little bit less info of an info dump, and that way, and also because it's split now and it's shortened the scene, that'll allow more room for some character development in between, like things like showing Lemon's relationship with Blueberry, and just little bits like that, like interesting bits in between the info dumps, which we probably wouldn't have had time to put in if we just decided to not split these. Bring their pains to life. Okay, so this does have to lead to the battle. All of these have to lead to the battle, so that's what we got to do now. I could never leave and I'd be happy the tables have turned for all those people that say you should get out more, it's good for you. No, you should stay in, stop going to the damn grocery store every day because you're bored staying up at home. Yeah, that's for sure. Like, it must be very hard for people that are very extroverted and like being outdoors, and I do feel bad for them because of that. Because I know if it was the other way around and say something happened that would have to stop me being inside and I had to be outside all the time for weeks and months on end, I would be driven crazy. So when I think about it switched around, yeah, it wouldn't be thanks, I might, once I get more confident, yeah, it's understandable if you're shy. But if you ever want to, it's always there, twisted mouth. Yeah, I'd go crazy. Imagine it. Imagine having to be in the garden or at the park for months and you couldn't be on your computer. Oh God. Just the thought of it makes me want to scream. Especially if I was in the company of people that, you know, I didn't want to be in the company of. If I was in Rex's company, for example, outside, that wouldn't be as bad. You know, it all depends on who I'm with. I've just heard some really weird things, like by apparently, like, some of my uncles and aunties are like almost strangling each other because they can't stand each other's company, because they're isolated at home, and it's making them want to strangle each other because they're in each other's company too much. And I'm like, but why did you get married if you want to strangle each other? Like, that tells me you really don't get on. And like, they've only discovered this because they're not at work every day all of a sudden. And it makes you think, oh my goodness. So people like literally just live for going to work. It's like that same thing day in, day out. And then they really, really dislike their partner, but they don't notice this because they're too busy going to work to notice that they actually hate her partner. And it's only at times like this when they realise how much they hate their partner and they want to strangle them. It's like, holy crap, like, why are you together? That's all I'm thinking. That's what I think here in these stories. I just feel sorry. I think you know, like if it was me and I was isolated with Rex for months, we would have a ton of fun. We wouldn't want to strangle each other. Well, I hope that's how I feel. Maybe he'd want to strangle me, but I'd say he wouldn't. I hope not. Okay, so we'll delete that now because we don't need it anymore. But your heart rate to tell me to stop. So we got that. Fruits lie, however, further question leads to suspicious responses. So this will eventually lead to the battle. The party find out what they're really up to, and the battle begins. A battle begins. I think you're hoping them. Okay, now this is the one we gotta think of how it's gonna end. We'll say, because this is a tricky one, this one is, because parts of this one, I mean, I like the idea of this being revealed to everybody, no matter what choice you pick, but at the same time, there's an appeal to only finding out secrets when you pick certain dialogue options. You know. Drago, how are you doing? It's good to see you. It's weird to me to see some people who are getting paid to stay at home from jobs they hate and still having such a hard time, not to get all hippie, but it's like they're so docile to their job. Some are really stressed because they're not getting paid or lost their job. That anxiety is perfectly understandable, but when you're being paid to stay at home until this blows out, why so just to get back to job you hate. Yeah, it's totally, like, of course, if people have literally, people who are in like really awful situations, they've got my full sympathies, but I can agree with you about people who are just working from home and are going absolutely insane from working at home and not being in the office at work and wanting to strangle their partner. It's like, come on, dude. It's like, you know, you it's like you, that's bad. I'm doing just fine. Yay. Raindrops. You were getting there. You're getting the top 300. Okay, so all I can say is this leads to the party asking more questions, and when they find out what the fruits are up to, the battle begins. Now this is really rough, of course, and it's going to be more than just this. There's going to be, it'd be really nice to have some little charming bits in between that, maybe only in certain paths, so little things are shown that are unique to the path that's chosen, but really that's like a summary of how it's gonna go, because that was important. So again, guys, I'm going to give you the dialogue commands if anyone wants to see the dialogue, because I haven't been showing it on stream for a bit. I figured out how to make RPG Maker MV write the text file and read the PC's username. Oh, that's cool. Well done, Drago. GG. No, I'm just going to double check there's nothing that has been missed. Oh yeah, fruits hate humans because their fellow fruits have been eating them. And we've also got these dialogues here. My goodness. We can't forget those. These have to come in somewhere. So what I'm going to do, get them all on the same sheet, maybe. Just move these down. These were just some random ideas we had. It's not very structured, but they were some lines that the community had in mind. And I thought, oh yeah, that's a good one. And I just like made a note of them. And you never know. There could be players from in the scene. So I'm kind of happy that we've like at least it dealt with the first part of the scene. We're still very early on in the scene and there's a lot more to build, but let me think what I'm going to do for Monday. I'm probably going to have time for sure to get more of the scene done off stream, because I'm not back till Monday, as you guys know. I stream Monday to Thursday, so there will be, the goal is for me to get a lot of this stream done so that when we come back on a lot of this scene done, not stream, so that when we come back on Monday, there's only tidying up to do at most, and then we can spend the rest of the week actually making the scene. Hooray. Just scripts, yeah, you'll be surprised. I've found that myself with certain things too. It's fun to work these things out. Okay, so there's a lot of lines here. Let's just think one at a time where they could fit in. I think just looking at that first one right now, I don't trust humans. They bake my uncle into a pie and then they turn my mother into juice. These two would go perfectly here. Because we've talked about being friends with them and them saying I don't trust humans feels like a really ideal response, especially because we've already got the dialogue planned and that was suggested as well. So this here though, we've got to be careful because they do begin to trust the party and admit the truth, and they thank the hero for bringing the most important masterpiece, Rose's blood mixed with secret herbs to the forest. So after that, something's going to be said to make them trust the party. We don't know what that's going to be yet, but we gotta have to think. let's have a look at some of the others. We'll try and find a place for them. Hi Sephiris, how you doing? Welcome back. Hope you're doing good. We're doing the dialogue scene of our first boss today, before the battle, just before the encounter happens. So we're putting it together. We're trying to, it's a challenge because we got to, you know, make sure these villains are convincing, and the scene unfolds as well as it possibly could. We don't want to screw up here. It's an important scene, and I want it to be super memorable. So, of course, there's always, with things like this, there's always multiple directions you can take as when putting scenes together and writing them. So I'm just kind of coming up with anything, and I'm allowing the community to, you know, give feedback, have a little feel free to suggest things, because that's usually how we end up with the best possible story and scenes, when everybody comes together and says loads of cool ideas. I just got kicked out of a channel. They claimed it was social distancing me. That makes no sense. What? So they just kicked you out for no reason? I'm intrigued to know the full story of that. That's weird. I'm sorry about that, Sephiris. We never kick you out here. Never. Hi Natcron, how you doing? Doing good, Natcron. How about you? Joe can never been kicked off chat. I actually believe Joe, by the way, because let me just tell you something about me, guys. I'm not gullible, okay, so I'm not gullible, but if you say something, I'm going to believe it, because I cannot detect sarcasm, especially in text. It's different in real life, because tone of voice kind of reveals it, and like mannerisms, but when it's a text message, I just take it literally, because it's written as it is, and so... But social distancing, yeah, I can't understand sarcasm or most jokes, so I'm one on my own there. And then I end up feeling silly because everyone else has got the joke and I haven't, and I'm like, yeah, typical, always happens. You thought it too? Yeah, it didn't pop into my mind even once that might be a joke. Like, I literally believed it. I was like, oh, that's horrible. I felt really bad for you. Most people nowadays don't understand how to sarcasm. Yeah, I just think especially on messages, like the only way I'd ever understand it is kappa. If someone put a kappa at the end, like if you put a kappa at the end of that message, I'd have probably known then that it was a joke, but never any other time. All right. But yeah, that's me, the girl who doesn't get jokes. When I do get a pun, I'm always very proud of myself. Like when I got these puns here, I was like, yeah, I get that one. Right. I really like all these dialogues and I'd love to fit them all in. I'd like to find a place for each of them. I think instead of it being about Rose, it could be about Carol. Because Carol's the one that's caused the... I mean, Rose, what is there to have a bad feeling about with Rose? She doesn't talk, and she's the component of their masterpiece, you know. It's gonna be Carol. But maybe not, wouldn't call a girl, they'd call her an insult, another word. But I just love the pun in that one. I've got a bad peeling. How come we not have that? So just an excuse to always call puns in. But yeah, a lot of it probably will have to be cut if it gets a bit too long, because as I discussed yesterday, I'm not one for fluff. I'm not at all. I want every line, every box to have its purpose. But at first, especially for the first draft, I just like getting everything all out and considering all possibilities. So... might not be plum that says that, actually. It's gonna be tomato, I think, because tomato was the one. I mean, she called him a spoiled squirt. I always thought sport was a T. I really thought it was with a T, and it's driving me insane how it's saying that it's not that. Because spoilt is different to spoiled. Spoiled is when something's gone off, it's gone out of date, right? But the spoil I'm actually after is the sport for when you're just a real asshole and you know, you're entitled and you think you're God's gift. I don't want to get the wrong spoiled in. What did the fruit say to their ex? Now you're just somebody that I choose to know. Okay, Lord, that is getting point to my notes. And like I said, it's unfortunate because some of these puns, we got so many of them that some of them might have to get cut. But I like I say, I like to get everything out there and consider all possibilities. And I asked chat as well this week. I said, so guys, do you like puns in dialogue? What are your opinions on puns in dialogue? Annoying or awesome? And most people said awesome. So it made me think, well, we're doing the right thing by putting puns in there. Am I right? They're awesome, aren't they? If anyone thinks they're annoying, say now, because I'm intrigued. If you were playing a game and there was a pun like that, would it get a thumbs up from you? Probably be, might be lemon that says that, actually, and tomato that says that. Tomato juice is a thing, and you know, lemon probably doesn't have a mother because lemon's too old. So it's probably tomato. It makes more sense it being tomato that mentions a mother. And at that point, some dialogue will happen that makes, you know, them gain the trust. And I'm honestly quite clueless on how I'm going to go about that right now. It's a challenge because how are we going to win these guys over? I think maybe Apple could intervene, perhaps, because Apple is, he's like he could be our middleman, the one who, so maybe he could intervene somewhat, but I'll have to have a think over the weekend about that one. Sometimes these ideas don't come to your mind instantly. So I'm going to look at our other dialogue boxes as well, because I want to consider the community puns and suggestions and seeing if we got a place for each of them. And it doesn't even have to be in order right now, as long as we think, oh, it could work there and we have an idea. That's a pretty good one. I like puns, but I guess it depends on tone and context. Victor Hugo, used to say, puns are the farts of the mind, and I think he wasn't entirely wrong, but I do love me some puns. Oh really, puns are the farts of the mind? That's a really interesting perspective. So he weren't a fan. He weren't a fan of the puns then, that one. I'm interested in understanding more and why he thought that. That's understandable. My God, it's not stopping. I think if they're thrown in now and again, they can be amusing, I guess. It does depend on tone and context. I do agree there. Like, for example, in this scene, you've got living fruits. It's comedy. It's amusing. It's charming. That's kind of the tone of this scene. So I think because of that, it would fit, you know, to have puns in this kind of scene. If it was very dark, if we had some dark themes going on, it probably wouldn't be appropriate. So yeah, it all depends, I think. So I don't know if you guys agree, but because of what we're dealing with here and what this scene is like, I think the puns kind of fit quite well and just make it more cute and amusing. A short video essay on puns. Thank you, Lord. I'm gonna copy and paste that. It's always good to get a bit of insight into things. But yes, just because we say if we overdo it in this scene a bit doesn't mean I'm gonna like encourage it if we ever had a really serious scene. Probably not then. If it's actually meant to be a humorous, fun, quirky scene, then totally. Let's have a look at some of our others. The whole like fruits hate humans because their fellow fruits are being eaten by them. That's an interesting one that could get slotted in somewhere. Well, it's kind of already suggested that just from those two lines, actually. So maybe not. I'm really grateful. I've just realised there could be a place for that one. So where they say we're here to give rose to you, they could say I'm really grateful there. Which one would say I'm really grateful though? There's no grapes in this group, but is the one any that could? I suppose plum is the closest to a grape. It's like a big grape. And thinking of their personalities, tomato definitely wouldn't say that. Neither would lemon. Blueberry could. He could say we're really grateful, and because he talks in baby like lingo, the fact it's a pun as well, and also the fact he talks in baby lingo, it's like killing two birds in one stone with that one. So I actually kind of like it being blueberry. Oh, I don't know why I'm copying and pasting that. I can literally just... Well, not I'm, we are. So he's the childlike one. And he's going to spell like words wrong anyway. you know, if it, like we say, baby lingo. So it works. That works, I think. I posted more of my work in the Discord. Awesome, Lord. Awesome. I'll have a little peep later. And it's Blueberry would probably say that after someone spoke, though, because Blueberry's never the one to say something first. He's a follower, not a leader. So someone else would probably say something first. Delete that. Got that one too. So Blueberry's going to remain all cute and adorable until that line when he's like reveals he's actually really evil. He's going to get all, yep, that one there. Don't know if it'll be exactly written like that, but that's kind of the idea we're going for. This one's one that we could I actually think it'd be adorable if Blueberry speaks after every time Lemon does. You know, that'll just show their closeness even more, I think. So I'm going to make it be Lemon that says something here. But we don't know what he'll say yet, so we'll say text here. He could say something here like their nosiness is leaving a sour taste in my mouth. I don't know if nosiness would be the best word, but you know, something like that. What's another word for nosy? Because nosy, I couldn't imagine like some old guy using that, saying it like that. I don't know. Something just sounds off. So we'll look at some similar words. Oh, they're prying. They're meddling. That's a good one. Don't know if meddling is 100% the best for Lemon. It sounds like something Plum would suit Plum's sort of voice more. Because Lemon isn't the sharpest tool in the box. So I don't think he'd use any like fancy language. But it's better than nosiness anyway. So he's not happy that this meddling is leaving a sour taste in my mouth. All the puns. But this could be something that's said afterwards, you know, when things get very heated, just before the battle starts, rather than now. I think it might be a bit early for him to start getting angry. Because they make up a lie in that particular branch, so probably should be focused on that. That's understandable. Sorry, that's a good one. It's a good one. Okay, folks, so unfortunately, and I really don't like to do this because I'm having a blast here, and I could probably spend another stream, like another 3 hours, finishing this scene and putting together the rest of this. But unfortunately it is after 6 and that means it's time for my dinner. So guys, are we gonna pass the love on to somebody else? Great. Okay guys, so but what I am going to do, just so everybody knows, I'm going to work more on this scene over the weekend. I want to get it to a state where it's literally almost finished, because I'd really like to move on to some scene creation where we actually see this in RPG Maker with play tests and put it together there. next week, but we need the actual plan done first before we jump into that. I don't like jumping into RPG Maker, you know, when we haven't even got the dialogue plan in mind. I find I end up having a mind blank. I used to do it like that, funnily enough, but I don't now. Rose Red Blood, yeah. My goodness. There's none of our friends are on today, but none of our usual friends we raid, that is. But maybe there's somebody else we can go to we don't usually go to today. Thanks for the stream, it's been nice indeed. Yay, thanks for hanging out, guys. So I wonder if there's anybody in science and technology. Because we don't usually do that, do we? This is an awesome concept for a stream. Well thought and created. Thank you, Overland. I appreciate the kind words, guys. And again, just as a reminder, I upload all the streams onto YouTube, so feel free to have a nosy at those. And also, if you haven't seen the website, guys, that's there as well. Okay, so we're gonna do a blind raid today. Like, I never do blind raids, I always get a bit nervous. But I'm just literally gonna go to the next one after me in the science and technology category today. Never done this before, so play Dungeon Mans. Looks like it's a pixel art game, a game about interesting. We'll go meet this person. So raid, let's get the name right. Luna Lux is a great game dev streamer too. Oh, awesome. Well, we'll know for next time then. Okay, so it's always good to meet new peoples. So play Dungeon Mans. There we go, guys. So let's say hi. And I'll see you on Monday, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out. You're the best.